goes out to my mother, Beverly K. Jacobs.
Dear Heavenly Parents, we come to you in prayer saying thank you for everything you're doing for us, everything you have done for us. We pray and say thank you for this day that you have given unto us. Another day that we can praise your name. Another day we can learn of you. Another day that we can grow. We pray that you strengthen us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as we go into your word. Give us a spirit. Educate us. Strengthen us. Guide us. Flourish us. That we might be able to take hold of your power and do your will. And in your name we pray forever and ever, and all those that will be joining us for Israel. We say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Judges. Judges. Now, I know you guys were introduced to judges, being that you are here and you have what they call, judges, pretty much. And so, but that is definitely not what they were. According to what you see, the black robe, you think, oh, that's the judge, bangs the gavel. Okay, no. It was taken from ancient days. And this is an occupation that is only Yah given. And so today we will share with you what it is, and so that you can have a better understanding of what judges are. So when you see them come into the world, you will know what's going on. Now, I will tell you now, judges ain't what you think. But they come at appointed times. They come at appointed times, that's for sure. And when they do come, they come. Some of the most famous that were judges in the Bible, judges came, it was a Hebrew thing, for sure. It was an Israelite thing. It was no other nation or race of people had judges. So what you see now is a variation of the truth, or a shadow of what really goes on. But they're not definitely what you would consider to be judges, for sure. And I know what you thought they were, but today we will understand through the Spirit what they really are. You have to be very much well educated, so I have to, give you the truth. Okay? Go to John 16, 7 through 11 first. Did you know Moses was a judge? Mm-hmm. Moses was a judge. Elijah was a judge. Samson was a judge. Samson and Delilah, remember? But Samson was a judge. Yahusha was a judge. When the judges come, you know it. Trust me, because they have a way about them that Yah puts in them to be, and so we will definitely learn. So, what I say, John, what?
John 16:7.
It says, "Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away." This is Yahushua speaking to them. He said, "For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment." Right? So he definitely telling you when that spirit comes, it's the spirit of what?
Judgment.
Judgment. Yes, exactly. Now, Abraham was a judge. Noah was a judge. Enoch was a scribe, but he definitely gave the judgment, passed it on to the giants and the fallen, what was going to happen. And I know you're like, well, what you mean these were judges? Well, when a judge comes into the world, the truth, things change. That's why I said they come at appointed times. Times when it's most needed that they come through. These are the times when you need that miracle. That is when the judges are appointed. So he even tells you right now that when that spirit does come, he says that it would 9 of sin because they believe not on me. Of righteousness because I go to the Father and you see me no more. Of judgment because the prince of this world is judged. Now, the prince of this world represents, of course, principalities. Now, I know y'all say, well, what's a principality? Yeah, because you heard that the devil was a principality, right? Now, the thing about principalities is just another word for the short version for the word principle. So when it says, when it comes in, the judge, he said he would judge the prince, right? Because the prince of this world would be what? Judged. So what he's referring to is that he's telling you that when the judges come, they come to judge this world or everyone who has their own principles. And what the job of the judge is to do is to sort out your principles, things that you value. But this is the thing about the judge. The judge has been given the law. The judges know the law. And when they come through, they come to judge everyone else with whatever principle that they bring. They've been given the principle of Yah. Jacob was a judge. They called him a prince. When they give you the title of prince, that means you are the principality. See, they don't tell y'all these things. Prince represent the principalities, meaning it represent the one who knows the principles given by Yah of what a man or a woman's supposed to be. And they hold them dearly and strong. Now, when they come through in the land, they judge everybody by their principalities, by their principles. Everybody wants to say, well, I want to be like this, or I want to be like that. And that's my principle. Right? But the judgment, he said he comes to judge what? The prince of this world is what? Judged. So he's definitely will judge the principles. Now, whenever you get this title, like I say, it's a tough title to hold. Now, if it's a tough title to hold, because it's only given by Yah. You have to be directly taught by Yah the principles of Yah. That's why the judges have been taught. That's when they come at an appointed time. They say in times of visitations to see the world's principles. Okay, now what principles do you have? What have you set your life upon? Right? But when you run it through the judge is either going to say yay or what? Nay. Meaning that's either a good principle or what? A bad principle. And you will be judged thereby. Now, nobody escapes the judge. Nobody. All right? That's why I say of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. Now, when they get the spirit of judgment by Yah, it's a wrap. Because they're going to deem whatever principles you think you hold, you're going to have to run it through them. And if your principle don't align up with their principles, your principles are going to be smashed. Because they don't align. Let me share with you some of these people. Go to Judges 3. So that you can understand. Now it says, now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them. See, this is what he's telling you. When he left you in the midst of all of these other nations of people, all of them have principles. All of them. They have their own what? Principles. And the thing about Israel is, the goal was to see, to prove you whether or not you can maintain Yah's principles or would you pick up other people's principles. Meaning, in layman term, will you be able to pick up some bad habits? Did you pick up some bad habits along the way? All habits mean are principles. Did you pick up some bad habits? Because remember, everything you have that you know, you were taught. You can't say anything you came with on your own. No, it was taught. But that's why he said, I put you around these other nations. I didn't completely destroy all them other nations. No, because I wanted y'all to be around these other nations of people to see if you allow them to affect you with their principles. Things that they hold dear and of value, and to see whether or not those values hold true in your life. And then, guess what? The judge comes. Now, all your principles you running through the judge, it better align. Telling you not. It better align. Because if your principles are not the same as the judge's principles, who knows the laws of Yah and every principle of Yah, then you're going to be smashed. That is what the hammer means in the judge's hand. Meaning, you get beautifully what? Broken. The judges don't never get broken because they know the rules. And so many people will come to test their principles on them. And then when they try that, well, I learned this when I was young. I was taught I could do this and I could do that, and it will work. But when you test it against the judge principles, guess what? It don't work. You come to find it out real fast that stuff didn't, I thought I was told, and it didn't work. And you leave dumbfounded, running for your life. Because now you won't have anything left to trust in that you can use, because everything you thought you knew, you come to find out what? When you got next to the judge, you didn't what?
No.
You didn't know it. That's the thing about the judges. When they do come, you gonna know. Because they're gonna test all principles. Whatever you think you know, run it by 'em. And if it don't align, it's gonna be smashed. That's what the hammer means. To hammer it down, smash it, flatline it. So listen. He says, that's why y'all left you around other nations of people. Because y'all wanted to see if you was going to pick up their bad habits. Now, the truth of the matter is, they here for a reason. They're here for a reason. All these nations have gathered here for a reason. And the reason was to see if they can get you to align with their teachings, to try to convert you. Now, the thing about these other nations, all of their teachings were smashed. And our teachings were also what? Smashed. How do you know if your teaching's been smashed? I'm going to tell you how you will know. Because of the judge, and we know the judge is Yah in man. When your teachings got smashed, 9 times out of 10, if you survive with your life, you still went into captivity. That's how you know. That's why everyone here. Because even when they brought their principles to the table, it got what? Smashed. And you went into what? Captivity. According to the judge. When you bring wrong principles to the judge, if they don't align, you get smashed. Not just you and your whole household. And guess what? If you don't lose your life, because you still got to suffer the penalty. But if it's not taking your life, then you're going into captivity. Like same way the judge bang the gavel and you go to jail, that's what they mean, captivity. So they act like they understand the things when you get in trouble with them. Right, same way they call it in this world they call it breaking the what? The law. You break the law, you go to what?
Yeah.
So according to Yah, in true judgment, if you get eternally judged and you lose your principle, you go to captivity. Meaning you go into slavery because you have to pay back now the what? The debt. The debt. That's what happened to Israel. Our principles got judged, and we was found wrong, and we got smashed. When all of us went into captivity, took our land from us, everything. That's the judgment of Yah. That's what he means when he say the prince of this world will be judged. So you ain't gonna get away from it. Okay? So let's look at some of these judges right quick. Some of the old school judges, right? So he put us around these other nations so that they can prove us to see what type of mannerism will we keep our principles, or would we divert and flirt with the other principles of other nations and worlds. The only thing I can tell you now is that those other nations are here for a reason, because that meant what? It ain't. Let me share with you this. I know you in captivity, but let me further let you know some things too. They in captivity too. I know you think it's just you But no. Let me really tell you what's going on here. Not only are you in captivity, all of them are in what? Captivity. That's why you right around them, right? Go to school with them, go to work with them. They here too. And they ain't went nowhere. They ain't went nowhere. Well, their teachings got smashed too. Now, Yah put you amongst the desolate. That's why he call them heathens. He put you amongst these heathens to see if you would pick up their ways, even after they stuff already been casted down. They knew they was, when you started seeing them not having no melanin, then that was a clear sign that they have already been what? Casted what? Down. So you pick up their teachings, you was going to be done. You flirted with their teachings, you going to be smashed too. They have already telling you that they have already committed to it. That's why they're here. And that's why they have no melanin, because these are people who have already turned, had principles, got their stuff smashed, and got themselves cursed. They ain't getting out of it. But he did say Israel had a chance. But the only chance you had to making it out of here is that you didn't have to have the same principles as what? As them. How do you know? That's what he means. Take your shoes off for you what? Take away those principles that you learned from them. Give unto Caesar what? What belongs to Caesar. If you got their teachings dwelling in you, trust me, you're not going to make it in. The judge is going to judge you and smash. There you go. We listen. So, read Judges 3, starting at 1. Now, these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. So he's talking about the children. Listen. The children of Israel that was not in the wars of Canaan. How many of y'all remember the wars? I know, 0. You don't know about the wars that Israel had back in Africa. You don't know about the wars. This was the wars they had back in the days. That was the wars. That's how they end up getting to the promised what? Land in the first place. They got to the promised land, but they had to war their way there. So he says that there's not, a lot of us don't know that. You don't know about the wars. You don't know the fights that Israel went through, the forefathers, to get to the promised land. You don't know. You don't know how many nations of people tried to kill off us. We see it. We read about it. But you truly don't. You wasn't there. So you don't know how they survived it. You don't know how you sitting here to this day. You don't know. Because you was not there when they was warned in the wars. All you know is, here I am. But now, people fought to get you here. People fought for you to still be here. Because many of times the devil tried to have you what? Eliminated. Many of times these nations try to have you what? Dealt with, done. But for some reason, Israel is still alive and what? Well and kicking. So yeah, you don't know the wars that they had to go through. That you can be here breathing right now. So he wanted to prove us now for the younger ones that was not there in those days to be able to now to be established themselves, to understand what it is that they had to go through. See, like Joseph having to live in Egypt, what he had to go through, surviving around those people, Lot in Sodom and what? Gomorrah. See what I'm talking about? You wasn't there to know the constant people constantly coming at him to try to get him to convert. You don't know the wars. Or Abraham, Jacob, what he had to go through. Right? Yeah. Moses just even getting the people out of Egypt. What he had to go through. You weren't there for the wars. Did they have wars? Oh, yeah. See, this is the thing. We sit here being children who ain't never even been in a war. Right? That's what it means. We ain't never been. Like, I ain't never been in no war. I can't even tell you what the first thing to expect. I ain't like Rambo that, been seasoned in war, been out there a few times, and I can tell you how many tours I've been. Yeah, you don't got no tours to say. I've been out there about 3 times. I know what it's like on how they tell them little stories. You get a soldier like, man, I was on the battlefield. I did this. I flew over this. I was there when Vietnam, and you ain't got no stories like that. You went over there in Iraq and doing nothing. So no, we don't have those type of stories to say to know what battle looks like. Right? So Yah says, well, I still had to tighten up my babies. So I'm going to bring a few nations. I'm going to let them be around them, like Africans and Asians and, Arabs, just to see, and Mexicans, just to see how you can handle yourself around them, knowing that you ain't been in wars yet. And the key word is what? Yet. Right? So, 2, only that generation of the children of Israel might know. And what is it done for? To teach us what? War. Y'all needed to teach you what? War. At least such as before knew nothing thereof, meaning you didn't know nothing about war, but you still needed to be taught what? War. So now you're getting why you're around these other nations. Now you're starting to understand why. Because do they bother you sometimes? Of course they do. Because Yah is trying to teach you what? War. Some of y'all don't think you're going to be in wars. I would tell you, think again. So, let's see. And it says this, namely 5 lords, this is verse 3, of the Philistines and the Canaanites. These are the ones that Yah left around Israel. And the Sidonians and the Hivites and that dwell in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of Yah, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of who? Moses. Would they keep the truth? Or would they what? Being around them other nations, would they what? Give in. And the children of Israel dwelt amongst the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivitites, and the Jebusites, and they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and they served their gods. You see that? We started interracially. And what does it say? 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their Yah, and served Balaam and the groves. Therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And look, judgment, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When that happened, what comes upon you then? Judgment. And then he did what? Sold them into the hands of the what? The Cushan risen, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served that king 8 what? Years in slavery. You see? So every time that judge hits you and you do wrong by the judge, you go into what? Captivity. It's telling you right there. Why you think they went into captivity? Because their principles didn't no longer what? Align with who? With Yah. Yeah. Because he said when you sold your daughters and married into the other races, guess what they teach you? They principles. Exactly. And you start acting like them. You start doing what they do. Then you no longer align with Yah. Yah gets angry, bangs the gavel. That means you and your whole family going into what? Captivity. Played yourself. But listen here. And when the children of Israel began to cry unto the Lord, being in captivity, then the Lord raised up a what? Deliverer to the children of Israel. And he who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged what? Israel. And went out to what? War. I bet you didn't even notice that in the same sentence, he used judge, but he also used what? War. You caught that? So, telling you now, when judges come, it's gonna get time for what? So these are some of the things you need to understand. Whenever the judges come of Yah, the judges come to deliver Israel. They are what you call, understand what a judge is. A judge is a deliverer. Who was a judge? A deliverer. Moses was a what?
Judge.
Because he did deliver them out of what?
Egypt.
And you know, once he took them out of Egypt, it was a what? A war.
Yeah.
You get it? See, when judges come, it's getting ready for what?
War.
So this is some of the things you didn't know about Yah's judges. Not this stuff you see here. When Yah judges come, oh yeah. Because they come not only to judge, they're going to judge the principles. Moses judges the principles of Pharaoh. Pharaoh principles didn't align, smash. Egypt, Israel comes out of what? Israel. The war was what? Won. They don't like to tell you that they had the war to get up out of there. They're going to make it seem like, well, they just walked up out of there. And he just delivered them at the Red Sea. No. Because remember, it was a lot of times when Pharaoh wouldn't refuse to let the people what? To let them go, didn't he? And remember, Yah kept slaying his people, didn't he? Because that was the time of what? War. He was slaying them Egyptians left and right because they didn't want to let the people what? Go. So the war had started. And Moses had to keep the people steady during that time. And look, see, the same way this one. He delivered Israel. And the land had rest for how long? 40 years. And then he died. And then when that judge died, then the children of Israel did evil again. And the Lord strengthened England this time, the king of Moab, against Israel. See? Now, because they had done evil in the sight, and he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees. See? Back into what? Captivity. City of palm trees is talking about the city of David. Right? The capital. That's why they call it the city of what? Palm trees. So you know when you reach David's city, because it's going to be full of what? Palm trees. Ain't that beautiful? So the children of Israel served the king for 18 years in slavery. But when the children cried unto the Lord, meaning what they crying though? What you think they crying about? To be delivered. That is what they praying. Lord, send us a what? Send us a deliverer. And then Yah does. And he raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man. And by him the children of Israel sent a present to England, the king of Moab. And this one tricked the king and put a dagger, hid a dagger within his clothes. 17. And then he went to present himself unto the king of Moab. Because the king of Moab was a very fat man, they say. And when he had made an end of the offerings and the presents, he sent away the people besides him. And he himself turned again and secretly talked to the king in silence. 20. And then Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in the summer parlor, which had about himself alone, him and the king. And he says, I have a message from Yah unto thee. And he thrust the dagger into his what? Belly. And the blade closed up inside the man's belly. Dirt came out. And then Ehud went back. You know, Ehud is Hebrew. He's a Hebrew boy. And he went back. And they saying that he locked the doors behind him in 24. And his servants never came to check on the king. You know, he snuck out, locked the doors, and left. And he escaped. And then they finally went to check on the king in 27. And they realized, 25, and they realized that king was dead. And Ehud escaped while they tarried looking for the things. And he escaped and went back to amongst Israel, 27. And it came to pass when he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim, the children of Israel went down with him with the mount, and he before him. And he said unto them, follow after me. The Lord hath delivered your enemies into your hands. And they went down after him and took the fords of Jordan towards Moab, and suffered not a man to what? Pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 what? Men. All lust and all men of valor, and there escaped not one man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of what? Israel. And the land had rest for how long? 40 years. 4 scores mean 40. And after him was Shagar, the son of Anath, which slew the Philistines 600 with ox guard, who also delivered Israel. See, these deliverers are called what? Judges. Go to Judges 4. And the children of Israel, every time the judge died, they went back to their what? Back to their mess. Went back to it again, started mingling again. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead. See? Soon the judge died. There they go. And the Lord sold them. See? Sold them again. Back into what? Captivity. To Jabin, king of the Canaanites, that reigned in Hazor. The captain of those hosts was Sisera, which dwelt in Hasheroth of Gentiles. I definitely wanted y'all to see this one because I need y'all to understand Judges. 3. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord that time, for we had 900 chariots of iron. 20 years he mightily oppressed the children. So 20 years they was in slavery for how long? But guess what? This time, 4 says, and Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lepaz, she judged Israel at that time. Yeah, I know you didn't know that. So y'all delivered them this time into the hands of a woman judge of Israel.
That was the first time? First time?
That wasn't, this one was the first time. She was the first female judge. Deborah.
That's the one who had the hands of kings, right?
Yep. Nah, she definitely did too. She was mighty as well. So like I was trying to tell y'all that when y'all send the judges in, it's a time of what? War. And this one, Judges 4, you can read more about her because this is her story. After she definitely went in too. And she delivered Israel out of captivity. Yep, she delivered. She was with Barak. Now, Judges 5. As you can see, when she had got the victory, she sung her songs. I just wanted you to see that when y'all does send a judge, y'all ain't particular on who y'all will use. You see what I'm saying? So don't ever think that y'all can't use a woman as well. Right? To be a judge. Because judges, you're going to understand. Okay. Now go to Ephesians 6, 10 through 20. See, they don't like to tell you about those stories of women judges. You see how they don't you never probably never heard that, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know she was a judge.
And then there's the other one you talking about. That's Tabitha. She was another judge. She went over there and cut the king head off and brought it back to Israel. So it was the women of Israel were more stronger than the men of Israel when it came time for the judge. When that spirit hit, y'all would choose y'all ain't never looking at the size. Remember, y'all looks at the what? The heart. That's what y'all looks at. The heart. That's what's precious to y'all. And it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female. It just matters the heart. Who gonna stand up for Israel the most? And who cares the most? Who cares? Ephesians 6, right? 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yah, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. See? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Principality. So now you begin to see what you are wrestling with. You're not wrestling, or another word for wrestling, what are you arguing and fighting about? What are you disputing about? You come to find out all you're really arguing about is what? Principles. See, this person says, well, I think we can do that. I was raised that you can do this and raised that you can do that. I was taught this way and taught that way, right? But it doesn't matter how you were taught. What matter is it a good principle? And what is a right? And when you realize that it wasn't a righteous principle, your stuff going to be what? Yeah, it's going to be torn down. And guess what? You going into captivity. All right. Now, judges. Another word for judges. When you judge something, what are you really doing? What are you really thinking about?
When you judge something?
Yes.
Who's right and who's wrong?
Mm-hmm. Who's right? Who's wrong? Let me tell you also what judges do. Judges lead. Moses led them out of what? Egypt. So it's also safe to say that judges are also shepherds. Real judges. Not that stuff y'all seen on TVs. I'm telling you about real judges now. Because guess what? Whenever you are a judge, this is how y'all knows you are a good judge. Because first of all, before you can judge all of Israel, y'all gonna ask you, how well do you judge your own life? That's what I mean by shepherd. A judge always has to know and always has to get it right on the judgment. Right? Always. Because one false judgment, I'm going to tell you how it really gets. You want to know how it really gets? The truth that the devil don't want you to know. If you judge it wrong, not only do you lose, a judge that missteps destroys him or herself and destroys their family. And not only that, destroys their bloodline, destroys their future. And they get wiped completely what? out. A true judge knows this. Well, you say, well, what do you, dang, that's kind of deep. Well, let me break it down to you. Whenever you judge, this is the question a real judge has to ask himself or herself. Where am I going? When I get there, what is it going to look like? And if I have people coming with me, I have to give them a safe place to walk. So we got to be careful as a shepherd when he's leading sheep. You just can't just take the sheep right across a whole river and everybody drown in the river because you didn't make a good judgment. Can we go across this what? Safely. See, that's what a judge has to be able to what? Do. You're not just judging, you're judging every step you take. And every move you what? That's what judges do. And they gotta judge within themselves, is this gonna be a safe or what? Nah. When you get ready to move on your own, you're gonna have to judge every step you what? Take. Because if you do a misstep, what happens? You're gonna lose everything.
David made that one mistake.
Right?
He repented, but he lost his life for it.
Yeah.
He lost his man made that one.
And he lost his, didn't he? But you're no longer permitted to continue on. See, that's it's very costly. Commanders gotta lead the people in the right direction. It's very important that the judge don't make a misstep, even in judgment when he's judging between a person. Meaning, yay or nay. Right? Because look at it like this. I'm gonna be 100% very transparent with you. Relationships. If you pick the wrong person to come amongst you, did you know that person can end up destroying your whole family? And that's your judgment. Oh, I know. You said, whoa, wait, what? Let me give you some real. Like a judge that sits in a real courthouse. Case by case, people come in. Two people got a dispute. The judge got to see which one is right, which one is wrong. For every person that he says is right, what's really happening? What's going to happen? Think about it. Two people. He says this one is right.
Someone has to be wrong.
Someone's going to be wrong. Okay, I see right now. Let me help you. This is what actually is happening. It's called transactions. If I tell this person, okay, let's do YouTube. Watch this here. If you're going to get this cold scenario, I would say, no matter what you two got going on, let's just say, I let him win. But let's say he's wrong. And he tricked you, stole something from you. You say, I just want my stuff back. He stole something from me. Can I have it back? And then he comes to the court, my court, and I say, well, I think he's right. It's a bad judgment. What I have just did at that point is giving him leadway. Because I say, you can continue on in your journey, but you have to what? Stop. Because now, in that judgment, you have to pay him X, Y, Z, X amount of this or X amount of that you have to come up off of. Your journey stops. You get spoiled. You lose everything. You got to go back to zero. This one, I'm allowing to continue on with now more money in his pocket. So yes, he gonna walk through the door and be like, oh yeah. And he gonna dance, right? Because he won the judgment. But you're gonna be sad and have to go back to your family and tell them we're gonna lose even more. Right? But this one finna to now go on. But then he could even say, and the only reason why I let him win, because before you didn't know, he came in the office and say, well, I give you this extra little money if you let me win. And I say, okay. For how much? So he bribed me. And I took the bribe. A little money I can spend today. So he goes past. Basically, I just let him into my house. He goes past. You go back. The thing about it is, what judges have to know is that everyone I allow to continue on will affect my future. That's what they didn't know. Everyone I let pass will affect my what? Because now he got more money. Now he's going to go forward and have more influence. Now he's going to get a friend or two because he got a lot going on. But you could have been Israel. And because I let this one pass, after he passes me up, being that I was once over him, fast forward now. That one little judgment gave him probably a few $1 million in his pocket. You know what he ended up doing? Probably went on in the future and started a business with that money. That business ended up being the bomb. He blows up big time. He becomes a billionaire. He changed his name to Elon Musk. He running things. Now, I'm just a little judge, but now he's able now to affect my what? Future. Because he's the big time now. He never got caught, never got stopped. He was able to continue on. And because he's big time now, he feels invincible. So now he starts, throwing his weight around. After that, I'm just a judge. But now he's going over my head, right? And going up, because he got so much influence and, money and stuff now, because he don't need me no more to say or do anything for him. He well off on his own now. He's doing real good. To the point now, he come back and say, you know what? I'm making contributions to the government and everything. I think them type of judges need to be fired. Then lo and behold, right? I get fired. All because I let him what? Bad judgment. Now, my little family ain't got nothing. He doing super good. Now he buying up everything. Can't be stopped. See, one bad judgment, that's what actually happens. You let the wrong one pass, that person is guaranteed to affect your future. Every time. You let a foolish person pass, they will affect your future later. Because they're going to grow up and become something big because of you. You let them in. You let them through. When you knew you had the power right then and there to what? To stop it. But because he gave you a little money, if he bribed me, then how many more people he finna to go out there and what? Bribe. So he gonna become big. I say he gonna become big. And all because I let him pass me up when I had the power then to contain it. So the judge has the power to do what? Contain it. That's why they bring the case to him in the first place. He was supposed to what? Let the good one what? Pass. And let the bad one be what? Stopped in his tracks and what? Contain him. I should have said, no, you gotta pay this one X, Y, and Z. You were wrong. Give her, and then she would have passed. And still would have affected my future, but she would have affected it in a good way. Because she would have been like, I remember that judge who did, I'm going to probably look out for that family. Or, one day it's going to come back. And that one little thing made her big, but then she will be able to come back and affect, your children's future later too. That is how it happened here. One judge let one bad person get through. And now look how many bad people running things. Now them same ones can't stop him, can they not? Somebody made a bad judgment on Trump. Look how big he done got. See, when you miss that judgment and you don't stop it before it gets started, you gonna catch hell later. But all this is called eternal judgment. You gotta know, and you can't misstep because it will, 100% will affect your future. The people you let pass. When you had an opportunity to stop it before it got what? Started. Y'all gonna bring you people and you're gonna have to make that judgment. And like I told you, every judge, that's what they think. This is what the judge supposed to be thinking. If I let you win, how will it affect my what? Exactly. You have to think like that if you are a real judge. How will me letting you through, will it affect my what? My future. Because if you're a good person, I know it's going to affect it in a good way. But if I know you two-time, you grimy, you dirty, you low, because you already done bribed me, so that tell me right then and there, yeah, you low. So I have to be wiser enough to say, no deal. That way I can contain it before it gets what? Out of what? Control. Look, so some people we make pass judgment on and be doing it so wrong. Go to Jeremiah 13:23. Look at this here. Can an Ethiopian change his skin? Or can a leopard change his what? Spots. Then may you also do good that are accustomed to doing what? Evil. Meaning if they mannerism is to do evil, when can they ever do good? Just like he said, like a leopard can't change his spots. So he's talking about your judgment. If you know that's what it is, why would you give it a pass? When you already know what it is. It ain't gonna change his spots. For Esau, Esau has a mannerism to Esau. And we still get Esau a pass like as if something gonna change in judgment. We can always get Esau a pass. Oh yeah, you know, he ain't like he'll do better. He gonna be something different. He just give him time. We gotta love him. And it's telling you Esau ain't finna change. Because he's been given what you call a mannerism. Or he has been given a what? What is the word we're using today? Principle. He has his set principles. That's what I mean. Can't change his spots. That's a set principles. Every cheetah gets what? Spots. Ain't no changing that. Ain't no changing that. Meaning he has a set of principles that when he grows up, he gonna be spotty. You can't change. Like in Ethiopia, he said, you can't change, they're gonna come out black. You ain't changing that. So meaning when they grow up, they still gonna be what they supposed to what? Be. So why would you be a fool to not contain it what? Then. Our problem is we let things pass in judgment, things we should have been condemned. And every time we don't condemn, did you know the very thing you didn't condemn, Yah turns that very thing around and use that same person to send you into what? Because remember the time when they had Esau on the ropes and they decided to let Esau live. Esau left, went off, got big, came back, and sent us all into captivity. Because you let them go in judgment when you had him. Like as if he was going to be something different then. You're like, well, we know we bigger, we're stronger. We got him, we can contain it, we good, let him pass. Yeah, but every time you let one of them bad people pass, what happened? They may be weak that day, but they when just because you passed them up in judgment, they finna grow what? They finna grow what? Big and strong. And when I say big and strong, I'm talking about they're gonna grow big in numbers. See, you let one pass, but that one multiplies. Now you're dealing with a whole army of them. We'll start off with that one you let pass. So that's why Yah tells you when you've been given the judgment to take something out, you're supposed to what? Because now you understand why. Because if you let it live, it's going to affect your what? Your future. It's going to affect your future. We had Esau chained down back in the days of David. But then Solomon came and gave way to them. And then they came back, grew big in numbers. And then they said it was an Edomite that took out Solomon. It was an Edomite that took out Solomon. After David, his daddy, had put him down. But Solomon let him have free course. They went off, grew big. Then they got to talking smack about Solomon. Like, why are we letting Solomon run stuff anyway? See, that one left, got in everybody's ear. Now the Edomites are big and what? Strong. And now they full in numbers. And then they came back and tore down Solomon's temple and everything and sent everything into captivity. Because you let them pass. You gave them a pass. David would have never gave him that pass. But that goes back to what you said. When David sinned, didn't he? And when he sinned, that's what opened that door. That's why I tell you, in judgment, a judge can never miss or drop the ball on judgment. Because being a shepherd and the commander of those people of Israel, his sin led to Israel opening the door for the Esau and the Edomites. And that one Edomite getting past came back with a whole army and slaughtered Israel. When you miss a judgment, it's costly. Do you know how much you got to pay for it? If you miss a judgment? Oh, we're not talking cash. Because when you miss a judgment with Yah, it's going to cost you your soul, your livelihood, and your sons and daughters. See, every time you make a deal with the devil, that is what you just gave him. Anytime you take the bribe just means I'm going to get a little bit today. But you take a little today. But he said, like Esau, that little morsel of bread, that little bump in my little pay for today. But then I have to lose everything later down the line. Because every deal you make with the devil going to come back stronger and bigger. Remember? He started off as a little snake in the garden, didn't he? Then he passed Adam and Eve, didn't it? Which they were supposed to judge it, right? What did he bring to them? A principle. They heeded to the principle. They let him pass. Nah, they said he's a whole dragon now. Told us he came back what? Bigger, better, stronger, more numbers. Because the dragon just means he got more people on his side now. He has infected more. And they said the whole world belonged to the what? To the devil now. You see, meaning he's a lot bigger, ain't it? He has way more influence. Because they let him pass when he was one that day. Adam and Eve missed the judgment too. They should have not let the serpent what? Pass. Because they're only going to go off and get what? And then they're going to come back and take all your people into what? That is called eternal judgment. It happens to all of us. If you miss a judgment with Yah, that's what it means. You do evil in the sight of Yah, he sends you into what? Captivity. By the very one you committed the crime with. You see, if you sell out to the Africans, then the Africans gonna get big and they're gonna come back and send you and you and your whole family into what? Captivity. That's basically what they saying. Whatever people you do, they're gonna come back and haunt you. That's what he's telling you. You playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Everyone you let pass. Watch this here. Because at that point, if you are a judge and you miss the ball, then you ain't no better than what they call a hypocrite. Now, what happens to a hypocrite now? That's supposed to be a judge to be able to understand the difference between good and evil. That's why Moses said, choose this day what? Life or what? Death. Good or what? Evil. Because the choice you make, that's called, you're judging. But the choice you choose is going to affect your future. That's what he's telling you. You choose life for you and your family, or do you choose what? Death. Because the choice you make will affect them later. The choices you make today affects your future what? Later. Go to Job 15:34. See, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be what? Desolate. Telling you that's what the word is. Desolate. Desolation, meaning when he barren, he's going to take all your sons and daughters into captivity. All of them. And he says, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of what? Bribery. See, if you miss the judgment, that's why they use the word judge and they put bribe too. Because judges are never supposed to take what? Bribes. Because that will affect their what? Future. Never supposed to take it. Meaning that little bump for today gonna cost you everything tomorrow. You think that you got a deal, you didn't get the deal. Because that's a deal of what? Death. It's a deal of death. It's not a good deal. That's why you got to hold your ground. You can't give in to your enemies because he's telling you already, if you give in to them, they're going to take everything back later. How do you know? P. Diddy. Think. He made a deal, didn't he? Now, they finna take everything from him, right? Isaiah 54. It's very costly as a judge. That's why. But judges are given by Yah. But like I told you, Abraham was a judge because he had Jacob was a judge. He had to judge between his family, right? Should he stay? Should he go? He had to wrestle with angels, everything. But he overcame. And you understand how he overcame. Because he had to wrestle with the angel, right? And if he would have lost with that angel, wouldn't that have affected his family? Because he would have died right there and his family would have went into what? Yes. See, it's always about that. You don't be understanding how deep judgment is. Call it eternal judgment. But every time you make a wrong judgment, it will affect your what? Your future. You don't think it will. Well, I can get this money today. It's going to be all right. I'm telling you, that's why they say fast money goes. Yeah. If you want to take that quick little deal to get something fast, it's going to affect what? Your future later. You're going to ruin it. That's what desolation means. You're going to ruin them. Because you got to still pay that back. And they're going to come for what? Everything. Watch this here. That's why it says, Isaiah 54. It says, so sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud. Thou that did not travail with child. That means didn't wrestle with what? Child. Child represents the prince of what? Palliative. You didn't wrestle with it. Meaning you didn't fight against the truth for that childish ways you want to hold on to. Right? For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, says Yah. See, the married wife represent the judge who knows Yah's laws, right? And principles and sticks to it. Or you can be like the children of the desolate. These are all the ones who made deals with the devil. And that's why everything became what for them? Desolate. That's what he's telling you. They have lost it all. He's telling you. Watch this here. Now go down. Because we know that in the judgment is what? We talked about it before. What is the judgment? Righteousness, remember? Righteousness is always the judgment. Now, when you are doing righteousness, let me tell you what's going to happen. Go down to 14. No, 13. Isaiah 54:13. Now, let's read. And all of thy children shall be taught of the Lord. What you think the Lord is teaching Yah's children?
Righteous.
But also what? Judgment. He's teaching them judgment. How to make a good judgment. That they can what? Live. See, that's why I tell you, you do good judgment, then you will what? You will live. Because eternal judgment leads to what? Eternal. Now you get it. Because if you judge it right, you and your people gonna live. But if you judge it wrong in eternal judgment, you're gonna what? You're gonna get you and your people what? Out of there. So that's why he says, now every judge of Yah will be taught of who? Yah. Teaching them how to do judgment. Knowing now that every time you make a judgment, that's going to affect your future. Yay or nay. That's going to be what it's going to be now. I ask you, what do you think about your next door neighbor's principles? Well, they might got a little something. They might, they stuff, it's all right. Yay or nay? That's the question. But you better make the right choice. See, it ain't about us just going along with the crowd. It ain't about just going along with what everybody's saying and doing. You better make sure that when you walking in this walk with Yah, that you be careful because there's a lot of booby traps. And whoever you join yourself unto, you're going to be what? Stuck to. You got to be careful who you make alliances with. Because that's all about judgment. You align yourself with the wrong people, they're going to destroy you and your family. And he says, so 13, and all your children shall be taught of Yah now, judgment. And great shall be the peace of thy children. See? Great shall be their peace. Because once you learn judgment from Yah, that's why I told you, all these people that say they judges, the word. But when Yah teach you judgment, trust me, because now that you understand that every judgment you make now is going to affect your what? Your future. Now, I trust me, you're going to make better choices, won't you? Thinking like ahead. Because every time you make a judgment, you need to think what? Because every judge that is a true judge thinks of past experiences, this current situation that you got me in, making this choice, and how it's going to affect my what? Future. Before I make this what? Decision, let me think about those things. So every judge needs to take a moment and just, right? And I just showed you that there are men judges and what? Women judges. So don't play with it. Like, well, it's all on you. You mess it up. No. Because Rebecca was a judge. Because remember? She had to judge between Esau and Jacob, who was going to get the blessing, you see? Because if she would have got it wrong, what would have happened? Esau would have got the blessing. He would have went on. And what would happen to Israel? Jacob would have never even had a chance to get going. We wouldn't even see. If she would have made it wrong, we wouldn't be here right what? Now. See, now you see how her choice, her judgment saved your future. Right? Every time they made a judgment, that she had to make that judgment call against her two sons. Now, Daddy Isaac wanted to give it to Esau, remember? But he had went blind. It was like she had to, Now, if I let Esau get the birthright, if I let him get the blessing, then it ain't gonna be no Jacob. But she thought about her what? Exactly. What if he does get it? What is it? Is he gonna do right by it? Is he gonna, and she's seen it. Nah, he ain't gonna do right by it. She thought about his past. Growing up. She's seen his upbringing. It's like, nah, he's always been kind of wild. He gonna mess it up. And then we're gonna have to deal with him what? Later. That's what she was thinking. And she had to make a right judgment. And did she make right? Man, yeah, I thank her to this day. See how judgment can definitely affect your future? One bad judgment, and you can lose it what? You can lose it all. So he says, 14, so in righteousness shalt thou be what? Established. Thou shalt be far from what? See, that's slavery. Because of the righteous judgment, it'll keep you far from what? See, going into what? Captivity. See, because I'm teaching you everything because, yeah, you finna get ready to come out of captivity. But you better learn not how to go back into what? Because it will be by your judgments. Some people you can't let in your fold. I'm telling you now. They are sick and they will affect your people to the point you will be overthrown. There won't be no more house of, any one of y'all standing. I know you want your legacy to continue, don't you? But if you bring the wrong person into your house, they're going to destroy the what? The legacy. Just like you seen, the Bible is riddled with people getting their legacies what? Torn down. Bad decisions. Took a bribe here. Let this person pass there. Should have stopped that person there. And let it go on, and then it was a wrap. But if you do righteousness in your judgment, then he said, you won't get caught up. You and your family will never get what? Caught up. Listen. For thou shalt not fear, and from terror, it shall not come near thee. See, terror, they's talking about the one that's coming to bring you into what? Captivity. See, that's terror themselves. The one that comes to vex you. The one that comes to look them in the eye and say, yeah, it's me. The one you like, oh, I fear that person because I just know I had a bad feeling about this one. But it's too late. It's too late. Because once you done let them come in, it's a wrap. It's always better to get, man, if you get rid of your enemies when they are small, you don't have to deal with them when they get what? Big. That's what I mean. You'll be far from what? Oppression. So, I'm going to give y'all a little secret. A little later, though. So, behold, because think about what I'm telling you. If you let your enemies in, it's going to affect your what?
Future.
Because they're going to tear it down. Y'all ain't even see it then. I know y'all ain't caught it. But watch here. Okay. He says, so behold, 15. They shall surely gather together, but not by me. So he said, people get there. That's the gathering. There goes all the people that's of that principle. They're going to come. They're going to always try to come for you. What do you think they're coming to try to do? Overthrow you. They're coming to overthrow you in judgment because this whole world is set on eternal judgment. Now, they will all gather to come and try to overthrow you and your family. But guess what? If you are in righteousness, he's telling you what's going to happen. If you are in righteousness when they come to judge you, when they try to come with eternal judgment to judge you, he says, they shall gather, but not by me. Meaning, y'all didn't what? Send them. So, he's also telling you with that, everything he said, you got to look at both sides of the coin. He's telling you that he didn't send them. But he can send someone to what? Over what? Overthrow you. So that's what you gotta see. He's telling you, yeah, I didn't send them, but let you mess the judgment up. Then I will send one that will what? Exactly. But whoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. So that's what he's telling you. Because if y'all didn't send them, then they're going to gather against you, but they will what? Fall. Now, when it says that they will fall, meaning they're going to try to overthrow you, right? Like a whole rebellion, right? But listen, when you are in righteousness, they're going to try to convert everybody in the room to go against you, right? But every time they do, because you are in righteousness, their judgment to try to get you set up and overthrow you, going to always fall. Meaning it's not going to be successful. It's not going to be successful. They're going to keep trying it, but long as you are in righteousness, every time they try, now you're telling you that they're not going to try. They're going to always continue to try, but they don't understand why they can't win. Because what? You are in righteousness. When Yah has set you in righteousness, they can't overthrow you. You or your family. Much as they try. This is what I'm telling you is going on behind the scenes. It's called eternal what? Judgment. They're coming to eternally judge you to try to get you thrown out, to get you cast down, so you can't continue on, to try to contain what? You. Right? Oh, y'all need to listen. Because guess what? If they can't contain you in judgment, then that means that you passing up the what? The judge. So that also means that you are finna go off and become what?
I judge yourself.
Yes. And that means you finna become, remember I told you every time you let a person pass, what happens to them? They get big. So if you getting past their judgment, what's gonna happen to you? Ooh, did you catch what you just said? Because if they can't stop you from getting bigger,
And they're trying to stop you.
but they can't, then that tells you two things. First of all, what they did never consider, that it must be Yah. It must be Yah. Because they can't overthrow it. And number two, they in trouble. They finna be in trouble. Because that only can mean one thing. So he says, but for your sake, see, they will always fall. Behold, 16, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Yeah, I created these weapons. Bring forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. But no weapon that is formed against you shall what? You ever heard that before? Say you're talking about them principles. And every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment, you shall what? Condemn. This is the heritage of the saints of Yah. And their righteousness is of me, Yah. You see that? The righteousness is of Yah. Yah has said it. When Yah say he set you in righteousness, mean he set you as a plant. And it cannot be what? Moved. Now what's finna happen is that a lot of other people finna be what? Because he set you to judge their what? Principles. For those who say, you know, they got this going on and that going on. But in judgment, they finna start falling. And Yah will just continue to hold you up because you are in Yah's righteousness, right? Watch this here. You begin to start containing them to the point they ain't going nowhere. See, at first, Yah had you on the run from them because that's what was used to happening. That's what they were so used to, internal judgment. They will come to one of us and just, rah, boom, and you lose everything, drop it all, blah, 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 and they just take it, right? Hey, is this fool gone? But they didn't consider what Yah come to do. Because he says it. What happens when a stronger man enters into a strong man's house? What was he fenced to do? He was going to contain that strong man and do what to his house?
Take control.
Take over everything. And when that happens, his house gets spoiled. So, that is only of Yah. Now, if that strong man can't get free, then he's going to lose everything he has of his household. When he sends something stronger to your household, basically he's sending one with a stronger principle. Established by who? Yah. Called to who? A judge. When Yah sends judges, it changes everything because you know two things. War is coming. And number two, that judge finna take everything. Because ain't nothing gonna beat the judge. Moses was a what? All Pharaoh had couldn't beat Moses. And Moses still walked out of there with everything. They can't beat the judge. That's the thing. When the judge comes, you know when the judge is there. But I'm going to tell you how you know the judge is there. When it's not so easy to defeat him anymore. The normal stuff don't work. That's because Yah already has prepared this one for the battle. You in trouble. Because your principles won't be able to stand up what? Against it, you're going to fall. So, continue in righteousness. Now, what about Moses? Well, Moses had the principles too, didn't he? When he went to Yah, he said he gave him manna. Manna represents the bread. That bread represented the principle. Because what do we call bread? Staple. It's the staple. Staple means it's the strength in which they stand. When you staple something in, it ain't going nowhere. So bread is a what? A staple. You hear me? Bread is a root. Bread is a foundation. You hear me? It's a foundation. How do you know it's a foundation? One grain of wheat can do what?
Feed me.
Yeah, because you can multiply it, but then it can turn into so many different things, can it? Same way with one seed of corn. What all the uses you can do with corn?
Oil.
You can make corn oil. What else? What you can do with corn?
Corn syrup.
Corn syrup. Huh? Popcorn.
Cornbread.
Cornbread. Anybody got something you can do with corn?
Corn chips.
Corn chips, Fritos.
Cornflakes.
Cornflakes. Tortillas, corn tortillas. What else?
Pretty much food.
But you see how many different foods. See, that one little seed contains so much. That's why they call it a staple for every house. Because without corn,
There'd be a whole lot of starving people around here, wouldn't it be? Corn is called a staple, meaning, yeah, corn fills a lot of needs. They even use corn for gas. They create ethanol with it. That was the missing ingredient, corn. You know, corn, they put corn in these cars to drive. That's what they driving off of, corn. That was them. Somebody was asking me about the cars. I know it's oil, and now the missing ingredient was corn. So they're using corn. That's how we driving these cars and vehicles. You see how much corn can do? Corn. That's why they call it a what? A staple. Because it can do so much. So much. Same way wheat, right? It can do so much. You can turn it into a variety of things. You know, you can get soda out of corn. You know what I mean? You get all type of stuff out of corn. Just one little seed, right? If you get that one corn, your family ain't starving at all. Corn, because look, you can do so many different things with corn. You won't never have a dull day. Corn flakes, right? Yeah, you got it. Kellogg's, right? See how Kellogg's made a whole company out of it, just some corn, right? So it's a staple. So Moses, talking about Moses and that bread. Let's go to John 6:29. So, of course, John 6:29, he get to try to tell them because they want to say, well, what we going to do? So y'all remember this one when he said, well, the work is that this is the work of Yah, that you believe on him whom he has sent. Because he's telling you that, be honest, he's a judge. The one Yah has what? Sent. He's a judge. Then they said unto him, therefore, what sign showest thou that we may see, believe thee? And what do the work? See, our fathers did eat manna in the desert. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from what? Heaven, which is the what? The principle, the staple, by which you will not be moved in. For the bread of Yah is he who cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. So then they said unto him, what? He said he gives them what? Life. See, he would teach them what? What is life now? Life is contained in the principle. Exactly. Your life is contained within the principle. Right? So he says, this said he unto the Lord, evermore, give us this bread. Like, well, give us some of that bread. And Yahushua said unto them, I am that bread of life. See, I am that what? That principle that you're going to need to learn. He that cometh to me shall never hunger. You see? He that believeth on me shall never thirst, nor hunger. But I say unto you that you also have seen me and you believe not. See, 36, you believe not. All that the Father give me shall come to me. See, everybody he will give this principle to will come to Yahushua and be taught of Yah and will learn the what? The principle that you won't fall by. I will in no wise what? 37 says, him that cometh to me shall come to me, and him that come to me I will in no wise what? Cassie, you ain't gonna lose with this principle. And what is the principle? Principle of what? Mm-hmm. But what is the key? What is the chief principle? Righteousness. Exactly. Now y'all getting it. You can't be cast down. He said, by no wise can it be casted out. Because that's the chief bread. It's the principle. For I came down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. See? And this is the Father's will, that he that sent me, that of all which he has given me, I should lose what? None, but should raise it up again at the last day. He had said what he's telling you. It's impossible to lose. He's going to raise it up again. You think the last day talking about a long time. He's going to raise them up every time it gets time for a battle. Every time. They're going to overcome whatever people trying to throw at them because their principles are off what? Anyway. So every time they try to bring their principle of what they thought they learned to the true principle, they're going to be broken. Because they don't know the principle. Right? They think, well, I'm going to come with magic. I'm going to come with stuff I've been learning when I was growing up, stuff, and that stuff don't what? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. See, watch this here. But this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone that seeth the Son and believeth of him may have what? Everlasting life. And I will raise him up on the last day. You're talking about the day of what? Judgment. See, because that's the day. They're gonna gather trying to do what? Judge you so they can get you cast out and kicked out and contained. But what's gonna happen in that judgment? They're gonna be judged, and you're gonna still be able to continue on that journey and grow as big as Yah has already decided that you finna to be. They won't be able to stop it. Watch. So they murmur within themselves. What scripture I'm on? Oh yeah, 43. He says, but no man can come to me except the Father has sent him, draws him, and I will raise him up on the last day, the day of judgment. It is written in the prophets. See the meaning? When he say rise you up in the last day, that's the day of your judgment. When somebody's trying to cast you down in judgment, he's going to let you what? Win your what? Case every single time. That will rise mean. Rise and win your what? Your case. And it is written in the prophets, and everyone shall be taught of Yah. See, every man therefore who have heard and have learned of the Father come unto me. What are they learning? Judgment. They learning how to win. Not that any man has seen the Father, save he which is of Yah. He that seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have what? Everlasting life. I am that bread of life. I am that principle. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are what? So he says, they are what? Go to 58. He says, clear as day, this is the bread that came down from heaven. Not as your fathers did eat that manna and are what? Dead. He that eateth of his bread shall live what? So what is he saying? The teachings of Moses' principles, what happened? Mm-hmm.
They went away.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the truth of the matter is, his teachings, his principles, he said it though. Moses was like, somebody else y'all need to hear. You know, I can only get you what? So far with my principles. But someone else you need to hear, because what ended up happening is the teachings of Moses, if you're still holding on to just that, you're going to run across somebody like me, and then you're going to be what? Well, before me, think about it now. He said Moses tried that stuff in battle. Not Moses, but the people that tried it after him. Did not they go into captivity? That's what he's telling you. Moses, that would mean Moses is dead. Meaning they went into what? That all of them that went into captivity were all of the teachings of what? at that time, weren't they? Did it stand up against their adversaries? Was they able to get the victory? Yeah, somebody would say, that's it. Yeah, did that stop them enemies from...
It's only 2 minutes, right?
Do you see? And it says that the teachers of Moses did not hold them up to the point when they got judged, they fell in judgment. Meaning that was the battle that they tried to come with the Moses teachings and to go head up with the devil, and the devil beat them. Esau beat them. Esau beat us badly to the point we in captivity now with the Moses stuff. Why they still run around teaching that stuff? But yeah, look at us in captivity. So they told you what? All that sacrifice and killing out, that stuff don't what? Them tithes, that stuff ain't gonna what? It's not gonna work in judgment. You're gonna try to bring that to the, well, I pay my tithe. Captivity. Back to the ghetto you go. They telling you that stuff with Moses ain't gonna work. It didn't work. We here now because it didn't what? Somebody would say, nah, I just gotta go back and redo it. Nigga, you here in captivity. Everybody that back then was in captivity using Moses' laws. It didn't save them. That's why Yahushua said, I came after him and presented to you a better principle. A new principle. Watch this here. I'm going to show you what he even told you. Second Corinthians 3. Seven. But if the ministration of death, written and engraved in stones, was glorious, so that the children of Israel could not even steadfastly behold the face of Moses, for the glory of his countenance was glory, was to be what? Tell me, that was why he put the veil over his face. He was trying to tell them, this stuff gonna end in a what? A disaster. That's what the veil meant. Meaning, you blinded. You can't see what's going to be your what? Future. You can't see it. That means you're going to what?
You're going to fall.
You're going to fall. Because them teachings was going to be blinded. Blindsided. Let me share with you this. A judge, because he always got to know how to step and not misjudge his own steps. That's why Yah says, your word is a lamp unto my feet, a light unto my what? Path. You see? Because the judge should always be able to see his next what? Step. Should always be able to see his future. That's what judges have the ability to do. That's why he called judges what? Shepherds. Because they should always have the ability to what? See their next what? Step. That's light unto their path. Every judge who is a judge should be able to see their future. Should be able to see their next step. But any judge that's blinded by bribes will lose his what? Vision, and will what? Lose everything because he's not going to see it what? Coming. Well, who he not going to see coming? The day of what? He said it comes like a what? Exactly. He's not going to see the day he's going to be judged that he was going to fall that day. See, Israel didn't know they were going to fall what? That day. That's why Moses put on the blinders to let them know that you finna fall. You're gonna rise up against something and that's going to tear you what? Down. That's what he's telling right here. He says, so how shall not the ministry of spirit be rather glorious? For the ministration of condemnation be glory, much more shall this ministry of righteousness excel in glory. Listen, 12. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use plainness of speech. And not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end. See, of that which is what? Ambolish. See, they couldn't even see their future. Because they didn't have a what?
Future.
Because they was going to go into what?
Captivity.
That's what it meant. Because they was going to misjudge it. See, that's why I said a judge should always have what before his feet? Light. Because a judge is a shepherd.
Gotta see the next step.
He got to see the next step. Because if he don't see the next step, he's going to fall into a what? A trap, a snare. And all that's coming with him going to be what? Stuck in there. Trapped. Captivity. And then when he says it, 14, but their minds were what? Blinded. See? Blinded. See, what he put on his veil meant for to be blinded, like a blindfold. For until this day remained that same blindfold untaken away in the reading of the old. See, they don't even get it. They still talking about Moses' law. When they read the Old Testament, what veil is done away only in what? Righteousness. But even unto this day, they still got that veil upon their heart, meaning they still taking bribes. They still out here misjudging things. They still letting the wrong people pass up. They still giving the judgment to the wrong person. Not understanding that person finna go out and affect their what?
Future.
Their future. And they gonna hold them in chains. So you let the bad guy win. Every time you let the bad guy win, it's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect you. 17. Now the Lord is that spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there is what?
Liberty.
But we are with open faces, beholding as in the glass the glory of the Lord. See, righteousness are changed into the same image from glory to what? Glory, even as by the spirit of Yah. See, that spirit that we talked about earlier was the spirit of judgment. You should be able, a judge should always, and learn this, a judge should always know their next step. Because it should be a light, always revealing to them what's finna go down, what's next. And it always has to reveal to who's who. It has to reveal to them, yay or what? Nay. Shall I let this one pass? Yes or no? I don't even care if it's a little baby. Should I let that baby pass? Yay or what? You gotta judge it. You have to. Because remember, everything you let pass, and if they ain't right, they're gonna what? Affect your what?
Future.
That's why. It ain't about smiles. It ain't about, no. You got to be able to see what mannerism of person that is. And you have to be able to dictate and understand, too, what type of principles that person holds on to dearly. Right? Because all principles ain't the principles of who? Of Yah. And if you let the wrong principles in, remember, you building up heaven. Watch this here. This is how you know. Go to Matthew 16. Go down to 17. No, 18. He says, and I say unto you, Peter, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my what? See, that's what he's talking about. Building the church is a future event. But you build it every time you let somebody pass. Because every time you let somebody pass, they're going towards your what?
Future.
Exactly. See, that's the building up. Right there. And so every time you let someone pass in judgment, you gotta know what type of mannerism, what you letting pass, because remember, that's gonna affect your what? Your future. That's the church. That's what they building up. And the gates of hell shall not what? Prevail. Let's see that what it mean. And those people that ain't of Yah will not prevail against this righteousness. It ain't gonna beat it. It's gonna be established in righteousness. Listen. And I will give unto you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be what? Bound in what? Because that's the keys to a who? I see a judge. What you see? He said, whomever you bind on earth shall be what? Bound in what? Heaven. And whoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in what? That's judgment. He gave them the keys to what? Judgment. Deciding who comes in and who what? Who don't. Coming in where? Kingdom of what? So every person that I say yay to, that's who making it. But if I ain't saying yay to them, what? They ain't coming in. Remember like the movie Sinners? Don't let them what? You don't let them in. If you make a bad judgment for that little morsel of money up front, but it's going to affect your what? Your future. So you don't give in to the devil for these little bits of whatever you can get now. You got to forsake that like, nah, no deal. No deal. Watch this here. Now, that veil means that your legacy just been what? Erased. That's why it says go to Job 9:24. See now, look. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the face of the judges thereof. If not, where is and who is he? You see that? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Who is he talking about? The wicked. They trying to cover up the what? Of who? The judges. Because the wicked do know the judges of what? The earth. But what is the wicked trying to do though? How do they do it though?
Trying to blind them.
But how do they blind them? The judge.
But not telling them they are judges, right? They trying to make they say the judge.
Well,
they won't be.
Exactly. They're trying to swap it out. They know that this one, remember Samson was a judge. Now let's go back to his storyline. Samson. Remember Samson and Delilah?
Yeah.
He was a judge. So what he was not supposed to do?
Tell what his strength was.
To tell her what his strength was, right? And he was not supposed to make no what with her?
No deal.
No deal. Exactly. Because when she made the deal, she was able to say, what did she do to his eyes?
Blind.
Plucked his eye. Yeah, see, exactly. Well, he did not know no more what he was doing. And then he was taken into what? Captivity. You see that? But that's what they want to do, cover the faces of the judges. But they only can do it through what? How does she have to do it? A bribery. It's through bribery. That's why they be wanting you to take the deal of the devil. That's why they be either trying to get you to take the deal. Take the deal, take the deal. Please take the what? The deal. Now, I love that what you just said about how they try to swap it out. Did you know? Did you know that's what sorcery is? Show you what sorcery is. Sorcery or sorcerer is a person who knows of your fate, but will try to rearrange it. That means like identity what?
Yeah.
Identity theft. That is what a sorcerer is, and that's what they have the ability to do. Their job is to rearrange someone's fate, take away their inheritance or their lot or their portion or their estate or whatever was supposed to be inherited by them, to find a way to rearrange that fate. And instead of giving them a blessing, give them what? A curse. And have it swapped. So every time they cover the faces of the judges, they ain't doing nothing but trying to what? swap places with you. That's why he tell the judge never to what? Take no what?
Right.
You don't take bribes. Because they will swap out your fate. Meaning, I told you, your future. Your future. He's going to swap it out. That's what the sorcery does. Swap out what? Swap out futures. You seen Skeleton Key before? Well, it was a movie about the people that swapped out their identity with these other people so they can live their lives and give their lives to them. Like trading places. That's what sorcery is. You seen the movie Trading Places?
Mm-hmm.
That's called sorcery. When you swap identities with somebody. That's sorcery. Now, if y'all ever wanted to know so put that in your notes. Sorcery, because y'all never knew what sorcery meant. Sorcery means to swap, to rearrange someone's fate. Or identity, that's to swap it out. To rearrange someone's fate. Meaning they had a good fate or a good future and you done just swapped it. Now, sorcery is to do what?
Rearrange your fate.
Or swap out. You know what I mean? To swap it. Like if you was cursed, you try to swap it out with somebody that you know is blessed. Try to swap out destiny. That's called sorcery. Then, so now you understand that's what that means. Right? You got witchcraft, but you also got sorcery. So now you just learned what sorcery means. Somebody would try to do a little hocus pocus to swap out your identity with theirs. They can live your life and, you live their life. I'm telling you, people doing that that's what overthrowing people does. You know that? That's what overthrowing people does. Eternal what? Right? Because if they overthrow you, guess what? They can take your what? Remember he said you take the strong man house and you take everything that what? That belongs to the strong man and you make it what? Yours. Why do you think people want to overthrow you so badly? Why do you think so many nations are coming after Israel? Now you understand why they want to be you. Because they want to swap out what? Fates and destinies. Mm-hmm. Right? Try to swap fates. But they should not prevail in judgment. Okay? You're going to win. And judgment was only given unto Israel. Okay? Judgment was not given to no other nation because the other nations don't even know how to judge. That's why they don't even understand every good path. But that is what a judge's job is to do. Understand every good what? Path. Okay? Okay. Okay. Ecclesiasticus 12. It's come in the lost books. You there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me get that right too. Ecclesiasticus 12. So that you understand. Read. It says, "And when thou wilt do good, know to whom you doing it to in judgment. So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits." See? Because if you do good to the righteous, that's why y'all say do good unto Israel. Because if you do good to Israel in judgment, they will go forward, right? But then they will come back and affect your what? Future in a what? Good way. So do good to the godly man. That's the whole point. When you do good to godly people, and thou shalt find a recompense, reward. And if they're not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that gives no alms. See, they were telling these type of people can't do no good. So give to the godly man and help not a what? See, right there. You don't help a sinner do more evil. Like, I'm going to help you out. That would say be a partaker of no one's what? Sins. Don't help people that you know are bad people. Why are you helping them? Listen. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the what? Godly. Hold back thy what? Bread. Hold it back. Like, I'm not going to bless you because I already see now you're going to be, because you got to think about your what? Your future. And give it not unto him. Least he what? It's right there. He going to do what to you? See, the scriptures is clear. They're going to come back and take you into what? Thereby, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good that you had did unto that person. He gonna turn it for twice as much evil against you after you done just, well, I let you pay. That's what you gonna tell him too. I remember when you were little, I let you. Yeah, now look, I'm big now. Telling you what's gonna happen. See, for the Most High hate sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly. See, that's all y'all reserve unto them is what? Vengeance. And keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. See, he keeps them against what? The day of what? Which is what? Judgment. So he's telling them when they come to court on days of judgment, they shouldn't be getting no pass. You're supposed to be containing that. You're not supposed to be giving them no pass. That's what he's telling you. Yah has reserved them against the day of judgments for them. They don't get passes when it's their day of judgment. No, they supposed to fall. But give unto the good and help not the sinner. See, but a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and the enemy cannot be hid in your adversity. See, in the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in your adversity, even your friend will depart. So never trust your enemies. Never trust your what? You can't give them passes. They give you hell today. You let them in your future, they're going to give you hell where? There too. Why'd you let them in? When you knew what I would say, can they change their spots? That's what he asked me. Some people we be so gullible and docile about things, especially when it comes to other people. Like they can make it. God love the world. God love everybody. But is everybody going to heaven? That's the question. You God can't be naive like that. That everybody, because he's telling you, let them in your heaven if you want to. You're going to see what they're going to turn it upside out. Some people you just can't let in. You got to know better. That's why he said, I'm going to set a sword. I ain't come for peace. Because I'm going to set a mother against the daughter, son, and you're going to have to, yeah. Because everybody got different principles around here. And everybody can't go in this room over here. So I'm going to need to check you at the door with the metal detector. Okay, let me, make sure you ain't got that leaven, none of them Caesar stuff trying to come in here. But then, because we know what you're going to do. He's telling you if you let them in, what they going to do. He says, so never trust your enemy. 10. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. That's why I know these were lost books. Of course, they take that stuff out and give you the docile version of, oh, you're supposed to love everybody. See, that's why they do. That's why they took this stuff out. So that you would be fooled. But a good judge supposed to have what? Vision. That's the key. A judge has what? Vision. Can see. Because they got to be able to make the right decision because that it will affect their future. So is his wickedness. Though, 11 says, though he humbled himself, see, like the serpent did in the beginning, because he was just a little bitty snake. He probably came to Eve like, you know what God said, but I know that if you probably was so humble with it, because he was just a little bitty what? A little bitty snake. Oh, yeah, just, if only God could know. But yeah, once you let him pass, though, a few years later, you look back and now he, a giant. And you're like, dang. I had an opportunity when he was very, very small to take him out. That's what he said. They're going to play. He's telling you some of the tricks they do. They will humble themselves around you and go crouching, but yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if you had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether what? Wiped away. See, he's telling you his rust, meaning his evil, was never gone. He just needed you to let him what? Pass. So see him not by thee. See, so it even tell you, don't not set him what? Set him not what? By you. That what it mean. Come on in, brother. Come on in, sister. Don't set him by you. Oh, no. Least when he has overthrown you. It's clear what they come to do. He said, he stand up in thy place. Told you. Sorcery, right? He done rearranged the identity, didn't he? Now he done swapped it out. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take your what? He wants your chair. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked thereby. See? And this is what they're going to say, being an idiot, say, well, who would then give pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? That what it mean, like the ones that be do-do-do-do-do-do-do. He said, now when a snake bite him, who going to feel sorry for the nigga blowing the little flute? Because he say, nigga, you knew it was a what? Exactly. That's what they saying. Like, you know leopards don't change. They what? They spots. You know what it is, but you let that thing get so close to you, and you did not know that was your enemy that was always looking for a way to overthrow you. Always was looking for a way to overthrow you. That's all they was there for. And you didn't let them in. You got to be wiser than that. You got to be wiser than that. You should always have vision to see what manner, type of people you're dealing with. It's always have to be a yay and nay moment within your mind and in your heart. But even, the smallest of people. Because I'm always like that. I don't know. Me personally, I'm always like that. Even when I'm around, I'm always looking because I'm looking ahead. If I see like kind of funny behavior, I'm looking ahead to, okay, what happens when that gets bigger? You know what I'm talking about? Because if we don't put it out, we don't deal with this now. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to get bigger. They get stronger. Then they get too big for you to contain. So you deal with that stuff when it is available to you to deal with. It's within your power to what? To deal with it. I hate devils in my house. So if I see one, I gotta what? Get them out. You don't sit there and just let it go. I'm gonna let it carry on. I'm gonna let it carry on. I'm gonna let it carry that. Eventually, it's gonna get too big, ain't it? Get too strong. Now you got a problem. And then we said then that would be your fault because you should have dealt with it when it was itty bitty. That's what a good judge knows. Because at first sight, your enemy will slay you. As soon as they figure like, oh, I got him now. That's when they come alive. Oh, it's my time. Could you imagine Cain before he slew Abel? As soon as he felt like he had that, I bet he was, oh. I mean, some people feel like they feel weird. Like they about to make some love or something when they feel how badly they want to cut you down. Like, oh, probably smoke a cigarette out. Yes, how badly they wanted to tear you down. That's how David used to feel like they was so badly want to tear David. Solomon, really. Because the son had it popping. And you see how badly they wanted to tear Solomon down. That's why Solomon let in all those wives. Remember he had 100 wives from other nations and stuff? They was just sucking their teeth at him every time he walked through that. Can't wait to catch him slipping. And he letting them all in. Come on, you come in. You look nice. You can come on in too. Yeah. Come on. And every time they come in, they just getting bigger and bigger. And instead of looking at them like, yeah, we're gonna get you one day. 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 Until the day they what? They got them. So that's what your enemy's always doing, lurking for that opportunity to get you, to tear you down. All right. But on a better, greater note, before we can really end this, I gotta give you some things that you can always understand too. Okay? Because at the end of the day, judging is really what they call sowing and what? Sow a seed and what? Sowing and reaping. Exactly. Because you reap what you what? That's what I'm trying to show you in judgment. You reap what you what? What you sow. Those little seeds, trust me, they come back on you. All right. So let's get down to this good stuff right here. Because no, Esau, I done talk, Esau done got his past. But now let's understand what's going to really happen. Right? Mm-hmm. Go to Isaiah 28 right quick. We're almost done. 28. Nah, I'm not going to get that one. It might be a little difficult for y'all to understand, but I'm going to give y'all something more clear. Go to Amos 3:6. Now, this is what I wanted to definitely get y'all into because now you understand judgment. And if you miscalculate a judgment and you let something pass, that is going to come back to haunt you, right? Nah, my friend. Because it's going to get bigger. Then it's going to come back. And it's going to take you into captivity. But now you starting to understand what is going to be the fate of who? Esau. You see, Esau should have killed you too in judgment and just did away with what? Israel altogether. But what did he end up doing instead? He what?
You can put the slaves.
He kept us as slaves. You think he did? Do you think that judgment gonna come out for his good?
No.
No. Because this is what's gonna happen. Because you keep them, Yah's gonna bring a deliverer through them. A judge. Now that judge will turn back around and judge Esau. Now, because of that, Esau gonna fall in that judgment. Then Esau goes into captivity by the very ones he let what? Pass.
Mm-hmm.
See, he let some people pass too in judgment that he shouldn't have let pass. And because he done let some pass that he shouldn't have let pass, they gonna get big too. And then they gonna turn and send Esau into what?
Captivity.
It's already set. It's already here. And ain't nothing Esau can do about it because that's the eternal what?
Judgment.
So right here. Now, 6. Amos 3 and 6. He says, so now, shall a trumpet be blown in the city? When they blow a trumpet in the city, they normally talking about, oh, wartime. Get ready, alarms. And the people not be afraid, see? Shall a trumpet be blown and the people not get afraid? Oh, what's that? Shall there be evil in the city? And the Lord have not done it. Now, let me tell you what that evil he's talking about. Because Yahushua said they're going to begin to call you what? Evil. Now, why do you think they call you evil? Well, my friend, they calling you evil because a house divided can't what? Stand. And now that they see one coming inside of the house and begins to divide. And because that one is beginning to divide, he's the stronger one. Because at first, before that one got there, the house was contained. Well maintained, well contained. But now, Yah done brought in some judges. Now the house is starting to become divided. Right? Now, because of the house becomes divided, they begin to call it evil when they're looking at what's going on. Somebody in here is evil. Another word for evil, what they're trying to say right here, is they saying that someone here is from the cause of what? A what? A rebellion. They see it. That someone here is from the cause of what? Rebellion. And for them, they call that what? Evil, of course. Because it ain't no good for what? Them. So to them, it's what?
Evil.
But whenever your city supposed to be at peace and all of a sudden an evil break out in the land, meaning all of a sudden there's a insurrection where there's people that's complaining at the turmoil and everything was at peace. Now it's a discrepancy, and it's things. House is starting to be what? Divided. He says, when that happens in your city, after it was supposed to be all peaceful in the land, he said, when shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not what? Done it. So when that starts happening, that means who has done it? Yeah. Meaning, when they said, like, you trying to come in and rattle some cages. You like come here to start some stuff, to raise a ruckus, to create a chaos. He's telling you, that person, Yah sent them now to create the turmoil. He says, ain't no evil ever breaks out in the land unless Yah is what? Finna do what? The evil means a rebellion. A rebellion actually means an overthrow. So they know within the rebellion, that's why they call it evil. In our city, somebody's coming to do what? Overthrow. Yeah, because once you let them pass in judgment, what's finna happen? They finna go and what?
Get stronger.
And then they finna come back and what? Overthrow what? You. Telling you. That's what it's saying right here. He says, but shall there be evil in the city, but the Lord ain't, and the Lord has not done it? Question mark. Because when it's time for you to be overthrown, he gonna send what? The judges. And what's finna happen? You're going to be overthrown. That's what they come for. He said, nobody rebels unless Yah wants them to what? That means Yah sent them there. That's what he's saying right here. Now, go to Habakkuk 2:9. Listen to this. Woe unto him that coveted an evil covenant to his house, that he may set his nest on high. See, that him and his house may be able to be delivered from the power of evil. So these are family trying to get themselves out of the way of that evil. So he's telling you, woe unto that family that coveted an evil covenant to his house, that made a deal, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of that evil. What is that evil again? See, this man said this is a rich man's house. He know what's gonna come? A rebellion. And he's trying to deliver himself from that what? That's what he said. Woe unto them that's trying to get their nest on high. Now we're going to go live on the moon. Because we know that now they trying to deliver themselves from the power of that what? Which is going to be a what? A rebellion. And they know it. They know it. Because when Yah sends them, he said, have not Yah set the evil in the land? Or set the rebellion in the land? Because if Yah don't want you to rebel, you can't what? That's the whole point. If Yah want these people to rule this, it wouldn't even be no such person as me here now. So it's clearly set that if Yah sends people like me here in a time like this, it's to rattle some cages. Because that means it's going to be a what? And an overthrow. So they definitely was trying to set themselves up for it. Now go to Exodus 34:5-10. And he says, now who set it up like that? Yah. Exodus 34, 5 through 10. Well, not 5 through 10. 5 through 7. And the Lord descended in the clouds and stood with him there, Moses, and proclaimed the name of the Lord, and said, the Lord passes by before him, and proclaimed, the Lord Yah, listen, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgressions and sins, and that will by no means clear the what? The guilty. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the what? Children. Remember I told you the judgment you make now gonna affect your what? Your future. That's what he's telling you. It ain't gonna clear you. See, this mercy ain't gonna clear those who have taken bribes and deals with death. Because that's all they actually made, a deal with who? Death. You traded in today a little morsel of bread, a little shot at fame, just to get you and your whole family wiped out. Your whole bloodline. And he's going to tell you how much of it is going to come upon. See, that's why he said he will visit the iniquities of the father, see? Of the ones who made these bad decisions upon their what? Children. And upon their children's what? Children. Unto the third and fourth what? Generation. You see that? When y'all get you, he gonna come what? Your whole legacy, your whole family, your whole bloodline, your whole generation, your sons, your daughters, your greats, all of them, he's gonna send into what? Not just captivity. Let me show you what's gonna happen. Whenever you make a bad decision, everything behind you, under you, wives, husbands, you didn't just curse them. You didn't curse your family. And not only did you curse your family, they're either going, I'm telling you, it's not just captivity. Some go into captivity. Some others of them with a sword will be sent to them. Death. They're going to be killed horribly. And then the others, let me see. I know some of them go into captivity, some. Others are going to be vexed. Demons going to get them. Some of them going to be, some going to die horribly in deaths. Others are going to go into captivity. You didn't curse all your people. And the other ones going to go into battle against the righteous. And it's still death. So they're going to get slaved. Some die horribly, like animals, car wrecks, horrible deaths, falling off a plane crashing. Then the other ones go into battle and still going to get slaved in battle. And then the other ones go into captivity, meaning become somebody's slave. See, every time you make a bad judgment, it will affect your children's children. So I'm talking about your future, your grandsons, and them, you didn't put a curse on them that they're going to fall. To the point where there will be no more remembrance of you or none of your bloodline. It goes away. Whatever your last name was is gone. Your legacy is gone. See, that's what happened with King Saul. Remember when he went to the little psychic? That deal right there cursed his whole household. To the point where all his wives got transferred over. Sons all got killed horribly and the other ones died in the battle. To the point there was not one left of his family left. That's what that means. We say I would just visit them, third and fourth generation. I would just come in that. Then I would kill them what? All. Now you get how he said Jacob gonna be what? Alone. Because he's gonna kill off a bunch of what? No. See, eternal judgment kills families and bloodlines. That's what eternal judgment kills. Generations, families, bloodlines, and households. Whenever you make a bad judgment, you take a bribe, or you let bad pass and you let the good get slapped down by you. When it told you that what was the other law? To love who? To love Israel, right? Didn't it tell you that? But if you ever turn on Israel, then y'all gonna what? Turn on you. That destroys your family. So all these celebrities who have done that, their families are already cursed with a curse. They, like I told you, some gonna go into captivity, some gonna go to war and still die. Cause they gonna be meaning led to the what? Slaughter. And then the other ones are gonna die horribly, quickly. Like getting shot in the streets or just horrible deaths. Volcano eruption on them or something like that. Earthquake. Died in the tsunami. It's gonna be terrible. Died in the flood. See, whenever you miscalculate Yah's judgment, I would say vengeance is who? Yah's. That's what it meant. Because once you learn, you know how to judge the situation. You know the difference between what? Good and evil. You become a what? Yah is building you up to become a who? A judge. And you better not mess it up from now. Because you know better. You don't let bad pass. Not pass by you. And you contain it. Because remember, one person is sick. But what happens when you let that sickness go in the house with your other kids and members? It's going to contaminate all of them. So then it's no good. That's why Yah says contain it. You let them go, they're going to contaminate everything in your future. And then they're going to come back and what? Overthrow it. So Esau was already set for an overthrow because his dumb butt and let a whole lot of people, his enemies and what? Let them pass and come through. So you know what's finna happen. You know what's finna happen to Esau. They finna turn and do what? Take Esau into what? Because he didn't let a lot of his enemies pass. See, it's better for you to just kill them all and be done with it than to let them what? Pass. And then have to deal with them what? Later. But it is of Yah. It is, he said. Now, when evil is set in the land, who you think said it? Yeah. If Yah put one person in there that just, that way said that rock is marvelous in sight. Yeah, in transactions. Because who gonna stop it? Because that is one of Yah's judges. Who gonna stop it? It's finna get big. And then it's gonna turn. Because Yah has already set that judge to judge. That means to tear it down. That's what they be afraid of. That's why they be trying to say, don't say nothing, don't do nothing, because they already know. But he said, who blows a trumpet and they ain't finna get afraid. But then he said it is marvelous in sight. Because marvelous just means this. Ain't nothing you can what? Marvel. That means be very afraid because ain't nothing you can do about it. You ain't gonna stop it because y'all don't want it to be what? Stopped. That's the only way you could have had stopped it if y'all wanted it. Now, there's a whole lot of people that came before us and they were stopped. It's because, remember, they didn't come in what? They didn't come in the image of Yah. They didn't come in righteousness, did they? They was coming with their own agendas. They had their own little stuff going on, and Yah allowed Esau to do what to him? Tear him down. That's what you come to do. Tear him down. That would mean the house divided came what? So they were just quickly tearing it down, tearing it down, tearing it down. But when you run across one that they just can't tear down, uh-oh. Because you might be dealing with a what? A judge. And he says these are deliverers. See, the judges are deliverers, shepherds, because they supposed to always what? Always supposed to what? Know the what?
The path.
The path. Always supposed to know the path. I ain't never supposed to be blinded. That's why they call him a deliverer. Like Moses was able to lead them out of Egypt all the way to the promised land. He's supposed to get them all the way what? To the what? Promised land. That is the judge. Because he's also a deliverer, but he's also a shepherd. Because he has what? Vision. Judge supposed to always, because he got to look deep into every judgment he what? He makes. And every step he what? Like if you got a group of people say, hey, come hang out. That judge has to be what? Let me think about it. Let me look forward. Let me look ahead to see what potential problems could be brewing. And then judge it whether or not they should go or not. You see what I'm saying? See, that's the thing about a judge. They like that rabbit. They ain't finna get what? Trapped. It's something I always said, the elected Yah, it is impossible to what? To tear down an elect of Yah. Because Yah has set them. They know judgment. They know law. And they got the power of Yah to tear who what down? All of it down. So they in trouble. But I always let this be a lesson to you to understand what judges is, because I know you didn't know this about a judge. These are true judges of Yah. Male and what? Female. Always know good judgment. Keep good judgment. And he said if you keep good judgment, you are gaining what? Everlasting what? Everlasting life mean them gains, B, when you be in them video games and you just keep getting extended life, like Mario keep giving you an extra life. See, every time your enemy try to tear you down, you get a what? An extra life. That's what eternal life means. They can't be torn down. Every time you try to hit them in judgment, they just gonna flip it on you. Because they have a job to do. They gotta judge some things. And judge some things they share. Right? So with that, now what is the sorcerer? Just one last time so y'all can remember that.
To rearrange your fate, to swap your identity with another.
Try to swap your destiny with theirs. Because Esau already gonna fall. And you don't want them to, and there's people out here, not just Esau, but there's other races of people too already condemned. So their goal is to try to hit you with that judgment, to flip it on you. Because if they know if they tear you down in judgment, then guess what? They can what? Overthrow you, and then they can rule over you, and then they can take your stuff and change their what? Destiny and their fate. How you been thinking they've been doing that for so long to us? Did you know that? Did you know that? How do you know they've been doing us like that for the longest? For thousands of years. Because all they have to do is get us to what? Take the deal. Let me see. All they got to get you to do is take the deal. Then they can swap your fate. Go back to Isaiah 28. This is the last one. Go to 14. Isaiah 28, 14. This will be it. He said, wherefore hear the word of the Lord, you scornful men that rule these people which is in Jerusalem, because you have said we have made a covenant with death. See, that's how the judge gets caught. When he makes a covenant with what? Or a deal with death. Why is it death? Because once you make a deal with it, the deal gonna turn out to be for your what?
For your death.
That's why I say you only made a deal with death. You didn't get nothing out of it. That's why he says, what can a man gain if he's gained the whole world but loses what? His soul. See? Because that's the trade-off. The trade-off for the judgment is that you're gonna lose what? Everything. So only deal you made was with who? Death. You play who? Yourself. You're gonna destroy you, your sons, your daughters, you're gonna destroy all of your wives, your husbands. Yeah, it's done. Your legacy goes down the drain. Once you marry into another race, stuff like that, that's a deal of what? You say, well, at least I get me a Mexican today. Yeah, you get it today, but it's gonna tell you see what I'm talking about? Because they ain't like they love you anyway. But they was looking to what? Overthrow you. Because they gonna do nothing. Well, how they say it? White it what? White it out. See, there you go. Overthrow. White it out. See, that's what some of them are gonna do to you when you get hooked up. That's what captivity mean. They're gonna take you and then do what? White it out. Legacy what? Gone. Your remembrance is no longer on the books. Your family is gone. Gone. So listen. And with hell are we at agreement. But when the overflowing scores shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. That's what they say. Because when the overthrow, remember, when the scores mean that's the overthrow. The rebellious ones, and when it's coming their way, they think they're going to escape it. Right? When the judge is coming through. That's the judge. It shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our what? Refuge. And under falsehoods have we what? Hid ourselves. Because we done made deals with what? With devils, haven't we? So your alliance and your shaking hand, now that's called a brotherhood, right? A sisterhood, right? And you think those hoods, is all of it is just really under what? False what? Falsehoods. You think just because you're in a sorority, or you think because you're in a fraternity, or you think because you're in a league with somebody, with this group, or I'm in the Illuminati, and it ain't gonna what? See, you think because I didn't join this organization over here, it ain't gonna get me, because we in numbers. But guess what? For we have made these lies our refuge, and under falsehoods have we hid ourselves. Therefore says Yah, behold, now listen, I lay in Zion 16 for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone. I mean, it's precious because it's proven to be what? True. Talking about that principle. A precious cornerstone. That's the judge. A sure what? Foundation. Talking about that's that bread, that life. And he that believeth shall not make what? Hey, see, you ain't your legacy ain't finna what? Go what? Nowhere. Your children gonna live for a very what? Long time. You young people gonna live for a very long time. But if you make a deal with the devil, you're gonna what? You're gonna shortchange you and your family. They're gonna have a short time. 17. Judgment also will I lay to the line. See? And righteousness to the plummet. See? Two things. Judgment and what? Righteousness. Because the judgment is righteousness. So by these two things, everybody's gonna fall. Because judgment has to take place. Everybody's gonna be judged by what? Righteousness. Whether you participated or you didn't. Righteousness telling you supposed to bless Israel. Told you that. Or you were gonna curse you and your family. And he says, and hell shall sweep away now the refuge of those lies, meaning the help of those lies. You done made deals, but all of your refuge and all the power of those lies will be swept away. Because when the judge comes, that stuff ain't gonna mean nothing to a judge anyway. Matter of fact, one of the funniest things they tried to tell me the other day was that, we got policies, and I'm like, nigga, I know policy. It don't work on me. It don't. The policy is righteousness. What are you bringing to the table? You talking about policy of what? See, that's the thing. Righteous people ain't under the same stipulations. But they don't understand it. And that's what I mean, they begin to marvel at it. Like, well, what can we do? Because it ain't stopping them. It's not. It's not stopping them. And then they begin to understand. And the waters shall begin to overflow their hiding places. Talking about, the word. They're going to have to come out of hiding. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled. Meaning you thought you were safe, didn't you? Needed you to come out of hiding. You ain't safe. And when the rebellion happens, all them people that was in cahoots, they gonna line them all up. Because we know who gonna win this war. That's the whole point. War nevertheless, but we know who gonna win. They gonna try to put up a good fight, but we know who gonna win. And guess what? After we done dilly-dallying and playing, we still gonna line them all up like we know we already was told to do. And each one of them gonna lose their head. We already to know. That's the deal you made. You thought joining that team was going, you got what you wanted. That's what y'all said. You had your time. Enjoy. Because when it comes through, it ain't going to be turned off. And y'all already done cranked it up. They ain't going to be able to stop it. They can't stop it. They always say that's what they're going to marvel at, that they can't stop it. Because it is Yah's doing, and it is marvelous in sight. Meaning, who can stop it? Who can contain it? Because the spirit is the spirit of what? Liberty. Who can contain it? Who? And he says, your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. You and your family, when the overflowing, see, it's overflowing, scourge shall pass through, then you shall be trodden down by it. Yeah. From the time it goes forth, it shall take you. See? That's that one that you done let pass. And now they done got big and turned around now to come to do the will of Yah. Now they bringing in what? The congregation. They might have came in as one, but they come back at you with a whole what? Congregation. And you out of there. That is the armies of who? Of Yah. And when they march through the lands, they taking them down by the numbers. No family's going to be able to stand. Whatever deals they made, whatever fraternities, sororities, whatever organizations they have joined. That's what he said. In the last days of Noah, they said they will always get to marrying into things. Until that day come. Then they're going to ask that thing to help them. And it ain't going to be able to what? It ain't going to be able to help them. And then what David said, then did I begin to beat them what?
Small.
Beat them small. That's what the word says. When he understood the judgment. Just like now you understand the judgment. And shall not one get past you, right? Not one evil person shall get past you. Then did we beat them small. That's why he said, let them grow. And then we're going to separate the wheat from the what? Because the wheat is the principal wheat. The principal ones. The ones of principle. That's what he said about the old barren scene. Because she is the one that's married. I mean, she is the one who has what? Principles. And they don't. For the bed is short. He said, look, from the time it go forth, it shall take you, for the morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night. And it shall be a vexation only to understand what's about to happen. Vexation means you finna be tortured by that. They finna torture you. That's what vexation means, to be tortured. See, every time they see our face coming there, it begins to what? Torture them, because they know what it means. Because that one ain't gonna be stopped. So now they under torture because they don't know what to do. Because they can't do nothing. The funniest thing I ever learned when I was first learning y'all was that I thought they had us captive. That's what I thought. That they was holding us in chains and that we couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't do nothing, and they was laughing at us because we got you, can't do nothing, you can't go nowhere. But it's not so. Actually, they can't go nowhere until you rise to the occasion. So they stuck. And that's what their biggest fear is. The day that's what they worried about. The day So that's the judgment. They can't escape. It was never, we don't need to escape nothing. Because this is what they told me when I was little. It was funny to me. When I was little, I was always afraid of the boogeyman. Right? I thought you ever heard of the boogeyman? So when I was little, I was afraid too. And every time I used to have the same little dreams of this boogeyman coming into the room or kicking in the door and coming into the house and spoiling everything and taking everything, and and I was so afraid. And I always find myself like afraid to do anything and just let them do whatever they wanted to do. I'm like, I don't have no power to do nothing. I don't have no power to do nothing. And it was always came at nighttime. The dream of the reoccurring dream. Always at night, come boom, kick in, and taking everybody scared, everybody running. Can't do nothing, helpless. But then one day, cut the light on. And the person I was looking at, the boogeyman, was always me. I was only afraid of myself. So that the one I feared the most was actually myself. And there wasn't no boogeyman. Because I was that boogeyman. So I didn't need to run from anything. I will not be the one running. And that I know. That I know. All y'all had to do was just cut the light on and allow me to see, and gave me vision to see. Everything I thought was in the dark, he allowed me to see what was in the dark. And that gave me so much peace. Understanding not only what it will be, but who it will be. And all the doubts and all the worries and all the fears and all the, I don't know what we're going to do and what happens and all the helplessness, all the singing of the blues goes out the window. Because we know now that's just a return to sender. I don't have anxieties and things like that of worrying what we're going to do. Not worried, not one single bit. I don't have to cover my head, worry, and count to 10, close my eyes. No, we know. We know what it's going to be. That's what he means. It's a vexation to even understand what is reported. He says, for the bed is shorter, 20, than a man can stretch himself on it. What are you talking about right there? The time, how long they finna have it. Not too long. See how short it is? They ain't won't even be able to stretch their whole. It's like a very small bed and a tall person sleep get on top of a little bunk bed. And he realized feet are all hanging out over the sides of it and stuff. That's what he's saying right here. That what you thought you had was going to only last for what? A little morsel of what? Bread. For a very short time. And it's so narrow and short, you won't even be able to lay on it for too long. That's how small it is. Your time. That he can't, and it's so small, like a blanket, he can't even wrap his whole body. He can't even put his whole body under the blanket because it's just a very little small. That's how much covering he really has. Or protection, they say. 21. For the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, and he shall be wroth as in the valleys of Gibeon, that he may do his work. See? His strange work. And bring it to pass. His act. His strange act. What do you think he's going to bring to pass? The judges. That way a lot of people can be judged. And it's going to be strange. Because they're going to be marveling on how strange the work is. Because they don't comprehend what's happening, what's going to happen, and how it's going to end for a lot of people. Like Moses said, they're going to be what? Blinded, right? Like a thief in the what? 22. So now therefore be ye not mockers. That's what he's telling you, warns you. Lest your bands or your chains be made strong. For I have heard from the Lord Yah of hosts. Look, a consumption. I have heard a report that Yah finna send in a consumer. I told you Yah is a what? Consuming what? See, everything this one looks at, they gonna burn up. Even determined upon the whole earth. You see that? It's already been predetermined that all these families are finna fall. It's already been predetermined who gonna walk out of this. They used to be like, you sure you want to say that? You sure you want to? I ain't never been no sure of anything in my life. Because I know I ain't made no deals with no devils. I ain't never sold my soul to nothing to nobody. So that I know me and my family is secure. Like we have always been. And I ain't planning on selling myself or soul to no devil anyway. What about y'all? All right. Hallelujah. Exactly. Because we know now, what's the point? Just to lose it all? You make a deal for today, but then you lose your everything for your future? It's not worth the deal, is it? It's not worth the deal if that's the cost. That's the true cost. They don't want to tell you that, but that's the true cost. That's why it's gain the whole, but lose your what? Soul. See, now you see what your soul consists of. Your brothers, your sisters, yeah, your family, your everything. Your generations that could have been. You done got all of them wiped out. All because you needed an extra $100. Or all because you couldn't wait on Yah and you just had to give in and take the deal now. I just want to live better. It's worth the wait. It's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. What you gain, because that means you ain't got to worry about running out the room, do you? Because you're going to be in there for a very long time. Well planted. He said that tree, he said that one little seed grew up to be a whole tree. Don't it? Well, let's see. Luke 13, 18 and 19. Then he said, unto what is the kingdom of Yah like, and whereunto shall I resemble it? It is like a grain of mustard seed. Remember that mustard seed? Luke 13, 18, 19. Unto what is the kingdom of Yah like, and whereunto shall I resemble it? He said, it is like a grain of mustard seed, right? Which a man took and cast it into his garden. That one little seed, and it what? And it grew. And then it waxed a great what? Tree. And the fowls of the air lodged in the branches of it. You see, that one little seed actually becomes even more than just that little mustard seed. See, that's how somebody said that's how it starts. But what now you see now what's going to happen to that seed. Remember that one little seed you let pass, what's going to happen? It's going to grow and grow in numbers too. And then, that's when he said all the fowls of the air want to come be a part of it. Say they lodge in the branches there, but we want to be with you. That's the conversions. Those are those that would be converted over. Right? So last but not least, where would I be without this one scripture right here? Because when you know it all, you know what's going to happen. Go to Isaiah 63. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. It is I that speaketh in what? Righteousness, and mighty to what? To save. You see that? And wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like he that trended in the wine fat? Because he covered in what? Blood of the grapes. He said, I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will trend them in my anger, and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is what? And it is come. And I looked, and there was none to help. And I wondered that there was none to uphold righteousness. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I would trend down the people in my anger, and I will make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. I will mention the loving kindness of the Lord and the praises of the Lord, according to all that the Lord has bestowed on us and showed us, and the great goodness towards the house of Israel, which he has bestowed on them, according to his mercies and according to the multitude of his loving kindness. For he said, surely they are my people, children that will not what? Lie. So he was their savior. You see that? Yah's who's savior? Israel's. So Israel don't have to worry. As long as they walk in what? Righteous. You see, he's going to be mighty to what? Save in battle. Because he's going to save any one of us that are walking in what? Righteousness. Meaning they ain't going to fall in no judgment, in no battle. No eternal judgment, but they will have eternal what? Life. That means, yeah, they're going to have life. They're going to escape whatever weapon you try to form against them. And they still going to grow into that mighty warrior that Yah always wanted them to be. That they're able to deliver Israel out of what? Captivity. That's the judgment. Same way Moses was. So with that, that's going to conclude our family day.